all. Wanted to do something different for spooky season. Horror is a big part of my life, so I wanted to write a little scary story. I hope you enjoy. October 4th. Dear Diary, my sister disappeared a year ago. One day she was here. The next she left a note on her drawer that only said the following. I've gone on an adventure. Please don't come and find me. I promise I'll be in touch as soon as I can to let you know I'm okay. Tell Mom and Dad I love them. And of course, I love you too, Munchkin. We never heard back from her. It was like a giant chunk of our family's beating heart was ripped out. She was the light of this family. Mom and Dad do their best, but it's obvious to everyone that they really should get a divorce. And me, I'm nobody. Hallie was on the honor committee at school. She got straight A's, did choir, even knew how to play the violin. Well, all I do is burn water. I've taken up art recently as a suggestion from my guidance counselor, as a way to express my feelings. The first pieces I made were just complete nothing. Streaks of black and blue, some red. My counselor called it a form of expressionism, whatever that means. But lately, it's like I've subconsciously started drawing this weird symbol among all the other formless shapes. It's some kind of weird cross. I swear I've seen it before, but I really don't remember where. October 8th. The lead detective called today. They provided their findings from looking over my sister's social media and text messages. Apparently, she was in contact with some guy named Ryan. They had met on Tinder. I didn't even know she had a Tinder. They had been talking for a week when he asked to meet up. She wanted to go to a public place like a restaurant, but he said there was this abandoned summer camp he was going to with his friends. They were planning a big bash, and he wanted her to be his +1. She usually stayed away from the party scene, but I guess she really liked this guy. He wrote to her a few days later, saying that plans had changed. They were still doing the party, but they'd take off in the morning on a cross-country road trip, and he really wanted her to go. Said she deserved it for trying to be so perfect and refined all the time. The detective told us that she had been confiding in him on how stressed out she was. Why didn't she talk to me? I could have been there for her. Maybe she wouldn't have left. Or she would have told us where she was going. Why didn't she tell us? October 10th. The cops came over today. It's not good news. They found something out in the woods. A video camera. My sister's camera. Nothing else was with it, and the search dogs didn't pick up anything else nearby with the scent. But we're going to watch the footage tonight. If there's anything that can help us find her, or if it confirms the worst, we have to know. October 11th. I saw it. I think she's dead? It's not clear, but what else are we supposed to think? It's either that or she was kidnapped. Was it that Ryan guy? I didn't hear anyone else. I think she was alone. And I saw something. On the very last frame. It was that cross, etched into a tree. I have no idea why I'm doing this. It's just for posterity, I guess. In case anything happens to me and all that. I may have been out here. Maybe because he understands me? Because his friends seem nice? Because I want an adventure. Probably nothing. Just the sounds of the woods, right? He said to pass a big willow tree and take a right, but I'm really far in right now. I don't see anything. I should have called him from the car. I don't have a signal out here. Just great, Hallie. This is what you deserve. What was that? Is anyone there? Screw this, I'm going back.
Hi everybody, this is Eddie in the future who's editing this video. So the music apparently is coming in way too loud, and again this all goes back to all the audio issues that we're having. So I figured for the first time ever I would re-record the intro, but I'm going to leave the music in the background since you pretty much can't hear anybody else. Oh, and Misty, if you're listening to this, don't worry, your intro sounded great. I made sure that it was all set in post-production. So, welcome to Cold Read the Podcast. This is the podcast by voice actors for voice actors. If you have any questions, if you have any topics that you'd like us to talk about, feel free to email us at coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to listen to your audio. If you have any auditions, or if you have any demos, or even any audio that you're going to submit somewhere and you want somebody else to listen to it, please go ahead and send it into that email address or post it in Discord for us to listen to, and we'll give you constructive feedback. Now understand that we've done this to each other a dozen times, and we've always grown because of it. With that being said, there is a link in the description in order for you to join our Discord. Feel free to do so and let us know how you came about to our side of the Discord universe, and we will happily greet you and make sure that you are on your way. So, hopefully this has been enough time. I should be to the point where I'm just checking in with Renara. The music should be stopping fairly soon, and hopefully I won't need to come back, but I may have to if the music is too bad at the end. Again, thanks everybody. Sorry for all the audio issues. This is what happens when you sit there and you reformat your computer when you may not have needed to. So, what can you do? I'll talk about it here in a bit. Thank you.
Season 1, 2, and 3 are out, everyone.
Yeah.
So if you are not aware of what the story is so far, you can go and check all of those out. Except for obviously season 4 because we haven't finished that yet. I have also got a paid thing that I need to that I was reached out for that they want me to audition for, which would be, it's a very small thing, but it's like, hey, that they asked me, hey, would you mind auditioning for this? Because I on Twitter I actually said, hey, like, I know you want that, you're just asking for people to reply, but I'm more than happy to do like samples. I just wanted to ask you a few things about the questions about the project, and I reached out, and then I got an email back from the guy and a response from Twitter, and we just had a bit having this back and forth. So it sounds really cool. I'm gonna put my lines forward and see where it goes from there. I have my final round of Dunmer. I'm hoping it's final round of Dunmer voice lines for Skywind, because they've gone through it. I've just got, I think, 20 left to do, 20 or 30 left to do now, because they've done the rewrites and everything. So hopefully once that's finished, I can then look at the other unique ones I've got, because I'm an idiot. But that will hopefully be sorted, parked, put aside, and I can actually finally go, I've done the Dunmer. No pun intended. But yeah, no, I'm quite proud of myself for getting through all of the shit that I've been having to get through these past few weeks, and I'm just gonna ride the I feel good about myself train until it decides to go nope. So yeah.
Well, good. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Again, apologies for any audio issues that are happening. I'm kind of working through them as I go. I just don't want I don't want to delay the show anymore. So.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Gotcha. Thank you, Renara. Appreciate it. Misty, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Instinct. Sorry. So I so I did that just because I really wanted to invigorate my senses and my creativity, because it's just when I'm not really auditioning frequently, it kind of gets a little dim. But I'm gonna really try to audition more frequently. I just need to make a new schedule, I guess, because when I have like major life changes, I have to like rearrange my entire life again. Because so as I used to do streaming like Monday, Wednesday, but then now that I have a car, I'm able to actually go places, and I do a weekly sort of like movie club thing now with a friend from another Discord server, and that's really cool. I love being able to do that, but that's on Wednesdays and Fridays, so it's like I have to arrange a lot of things. So that's auditioning. I have to figure out when I can do that, because I also have to deliver DoorDash some nights, so it's like, but we're working on it. And apart from that, thankfully the deadline for the Ultimate VO Survivor got extended to the 31st. So
Oh, good.
I still have time for that, because I thought I had missed it. Oh God.
Well, lots of changes. I'm glad to hear that you're still driving around and doing all that stuff. So that's always a plus. And yeah, I know finding time is definitely hard. So I totally understand. Thanks for being here, Misty. Love the intro. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you the guys got to hear the scream. I'm not sure if it got cut off, but I did try. I'm terrible at screaming.
I will make sure to boost it when we get to the VOD. So thank you. Sorry
just
again.
Have it like terribly distorted.
Yeah. No, I will. Yeah.
Super boosted.
So. I'm good at editing. Don't worry. I can fix it. I'll fix it in post. It's fine.
Yay.
Eldurrino, how are you doing?
We're doing it live.
Fuck it, we're doing it live. God damn it.
I'm good. This week, so I've really been kind of in the same boat as Misty. Really trying to structure my life. I realized a few weeks back that I was just kind of in a creative rut, and I really needed to do something to bring myself out of it. And as I was explaining before the show, I've been doing this writing challenge that I just decided to undertake for whatever reason. It hasn't been going as well as I want it to go, but at the same time, it has been going well. For instance, I wrote one entry that was just meant to be like a quick short story. The scene is the guy, there's a guy in this room thinking about how he can't sleep normally. It takes him, a good 30 minutes to an hour just to even fall asleep. And then so he's kind of just pacing around the room, goes over the window. He opens up the blinds. Down below him, you see the Earth. And there's, he's basically on a space station. Anyways, the whole thing was just meant to be a very short story, but then all of a sudden it just turned into like I have another 3 or 4 chapters written that is now developing into something bigger. So I think that is cool. However, I have not been writing every single day as I wish I would, because honestly, sometimes it's just really hard to think of something. I know the purpose is to just write and just do that. Simply put something out there. It doesn't have to be good, but at the same time, I also want it to be worthwhile. I want it to. Basically, I'm trying to challenge myself every day to be better. So it's Anyways,
no, it's good.
That's basically my whole week in a nutshell. Has just been really trying to focus on doing that, making sure that I get home from my day job, I eat dinner, and then up until like 9 p.m. or something, I'm doing something that is creative, whether that be writing, working on music, going on Skillshare, learning stuff off of there, just something creative. And then after that, then I can relax and play video games and crap. Speaking of video games, in case anyone doesn't know, there is there's an emulation for Metroid Prime out there, so you can play Metroid Prime on your PC. But there is a modified version of the emulator that allows you to use your mouse, and it's like 1-to-1. So you can play Metroid Prime as a somewhat modern day FPS. And oh my God, it is so awesome.
Huh.
It is so cool. I love it. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing.
Interesting. I don't think I ever got to play Metro Prime, so that's good to know.
It's very, very enjoyable.
Well, thank you so much, Dorino. Appreciate it. Quick update from. Well, I don't know if I'm going to try to be quick. I mean, obviously, I'm in a different place. The booth is in a whole. This was just barely put together yesterday. The wiring is still happening. The room treatment, like I mentioned before, if you look behind me, you'll notice that there's a square missing. I'm holding the square right here. I just took the. These things are a pain in the butt. Let me tell you, little plastic things that kind of hold the.
Oh yeah.
For the 2-sided tape. Oh my God! It takes me like 5 minutes sometimes to get them all off because this is what I'm using to put it up. I want to treat the room because I don't have a window anymore. I don't have the road noise anymore. I don't have the bathroom anymore with the door slamming, so you won't hear. Worst case scenario, you're gonna because my dog is like right over here, so she may occasionally bark. But I mean, I don't need to wait because there's so many big muscle cars in the area. So I essentially moved downstairs to a subterranean floor in my house. The acoustics in here initially were terrible. It was tin can. It was echoey. So that's why it's so important for me not only to put the treatment here. I have so many squares that will be left over. I'll be able to treat my ceiling. So this will be So this is gonna be really interesting. I'm looking forward to the change. My daughter asked for a smaller room, which is like, okay, I'll switch with you. No big deal. But yeah, it took me having to move everything downstairs. I was having a problem with my streaming computer too, because I couldn't make any changes to it. I couldn't install anything anymore. The Windows was so messed up from all the changes that I'd done. I just had to just like reset everything and start over. So that's why we had the 15-minute delay that led up to all of this and all the sound issues that are still kind of plaguing us as we go. So this will improve as we go. I apologize again to everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us. And Misty, I will make sure that your intro gets the absolute best treatment that I can give it when we do the post. Thank you again, everybody. Our guest today is Bad News Bakery, and I'd love to ask. You also go by Buca?
Yes.
Buca, okay. Like Buca de Beppo, B-U-C-A, or?
No, it has a very silly origin, but it's just Buca.
Okay. Well, let me ask, because I always love to check in. How has your last week been?
Pretty cool. What was it? I went to a nice little Halloween shindig with my friends last night, so that was fun. I got to dress up as Ariel, and test my wig styling skills. I think I did pretty good.
Nice.
Nice.
Beyond that, went and saw My Chemical Romance.
Ooh.
So that was very, very fun. Haven't seen them since 2008. So that was pretty cool.
You really are doing the whole like throwback thing like we were talking about earlier. Just
I am
right
in my
back to
emo kid
teenagehood.
prime.
Yeah.
I feel young again.
Well, no, I'm not going to dox you, ask you, but so yeah, it's very cool. Wow. I'm sure that was a pretty killer show too, then, huh?
Oh, it was so good. It was awesome. They did their best to kind of cover their entire career with like pulling hits from all of their albums, and they released a new song this year, and that was their opener. So it was awesome.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Well, so let me ask, because this, mostly we do the voice acting thing. So how did you get started in your journey into voice acting?
Well, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a Disney princess. And like I was determined, like I may not look like a Disney princess, but damn it, I'll sound like one. So that was kind of where the idea like sort of seeded in my brain when I was very young. But I really didn't get into it until about 2019. Where I attended a convention, and I'm comfortable sharing where I'm at. I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And I attended a little itty bitty convention called Level Up Expo. And there was a voice acting competition during the convention. So I didn't notice until the last day, so I couldn't participate. They did auditions earlier in the week. But I watched it. And right at the very last minute, they were like, heck, we ran out of judges. We like one of the people that was going to judge bailed. Hey, you look interesting. Do you want to judge our competition?
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God.
heck yeah, I do.
Nice.
Okay.
And so I went from not thinking that I was just going to be watching to judging people's performances. And it was a really, really grand old fun time. And them just kind of looking at me and assuming I would do well. Pleasant surprise. They were like, hey, do you want to join our little group? And I was like, yes, absolutely yes.
Wow.
It was hosted by a group called the Arizona Voice Acting Guild. And now we're 4 or 5 years later. I can't math. But I have been a part of that group ever since. I ended up becoming essentially their casting manager and what has been fondly dubbed the guild mom. I am the one who takes care of
Aw.
everyone's feelings.
Hey.
Lovely.
Wow. Well, I think that's about the most unique way of getting into that I've ever heard anybody say so far. So congratulations
Fell
on
into it.
Yeah.
Random.
you didn't fall in, you got thrusted into it. You just like push and here you go.
Yoinked right into it.
You look like a voice actor. I'm sorry, what? Come here.
There you go. You have a face for voice acting.
Apparently. I was told that I looked like a librarian that day, and so they were like, you look technically smart, do that. I was dressed in all red. I had like this red crop top and a skirt that had apples all over it because I'm in my Snow White is my theme. Because my name in Spanish translates directly to Snow White. My parents had a mission.
Wow.
You were destined for Disney princess. Like
Exactly.
From the beginning.
True.
So after you got back home from the particular conference, did you start looking into it? Did you start looking at equipment? What did you do?
Yeah, I kind of dove headfirst into it from that point. I was just like, okay, if I really want to do this, I need better stuff. So I worked with one of my friends. She helped me get like a little Yeti snowball to sound half decent. And it kind of sprung board from there. I did a bunch of auditions on top of my activities with the guild, which was to basically get ourselves set up in Las Vegas because Arizona Voice Acting Guild, kind of in the name, it started there, and
Right.
they hadn't really established themselves in Las Vegas. So I helped with that as far as getting things established, finding a space for us to do things that was free or almost free. And that put us in a place called the Walnut Community Center, which is kind of in the name. It's a place where everyone, it's a resource here in Las Vegas, and it's part of a whole kind of chain of community centers within Clark County. And they gave us a space to work. They said, hey, if you can make your activities open to kids 8 and up, or as young as possible, you can use our space for free. So we went from just being a small little tight-knit group to being open to anyone in the Las Vegas area who was a part of the community centers to be able to work with us. We went, and it kind of skyrocketed because 2019, it was right before the pandemic kind of really launched. And so, we established our little crew, and then everything shut down. Once things started opening up again, it just blew up. So we went from just having 6 or 8 little folks participating, including myself. Our largest workshop had 35 people this year.
Oh, wow.
So it exploded. And it's been really exciting because, for me as well, kind of existing in the space of casting director, I'm working with folks, helping them find what their voice archetype is. And then from there, helping them expand their horizons, expand how dynamic their voice types and voice styles can be. And so at first working with adults, 16 and older, they're a little easier to work with, talk to, but their barrier is sort of shyness. Where on the opposite end of things, when you're dealing with kids, they're gung-ho for anything, and it can be hard to rein them in and get them to work through, from the technical side of things. So sort of having that range of who you're working with has been exciting for me. I have found, as much as I love voice acting myself, just as much, if not more, I love working with folks to get them into a better space to do their best in their voice acting.
Wow.
That's a really good way of putting it. I was just gonna say real quick that I kind of find myself in that same suit. Like, I'm
Same.
a long time musician, 22 plus years now. And as much as I love doing my own music or even covering other people's, I really like helping people out with their own music, just bringing new ideas to the table or get them to think in a different way. Like, I'm working on a song right now. It's what I've been doing this weekend, is just working on a song for a friend. And I kind of makes me want to be a producer overall, like it's just fun. I love helping people too. So I get you there.
For sure. And when you mention music, it's interesting because my background was in music. I was in choir from when I was, barely 10 years old all the way through high school. And it was that musical background that for me made it easy to kind of transpose that knowledge into voice acting, because you can understand musicality, you can understand from a technical perspective how to take care of your voice and how to take those skills and carry it into your voice acting.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, speaking of music, you mentioned earlier there's a person in common that we know, Gloop Dog, that you were singing with. Does that mean that you were from the Twitch Sings era, or did you jump in afterwards?
I jumped in like literally within the first week of me discovering Twitch Sings, they announced that they were closing support of Twitch Sings, and I was devastated.
I think we all were, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So definitely a Twitch Sings refugee.
That's tragic.
Is that the equipment that you were using to sing? Was it mostly the snowball, or did you have different things for that?
Everything was with the snowball for a long periodically time. And then I eventually graduated to what is it called? The ATX 200 or 2000. I always forget the darn name of it. The Audio Technica.
The 2020?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a good mic.
So I had, it's really not bad. And it worked out really well for me. It's so clean. So, but you have to dance with the mic a bit because, if you're going to be belting, you've got to hold it out here.
Yeah.
So, definitely was an interesting experience working with it. My cohorts in the voice acting guild, they were always like, you'd better get a condenser mic. And I'm like, I can't afford a condenser mic. So I had to go with what I could get.
Sure.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I also jumped, and I ended up buying a very expensive mic, and all that does is it shows the faults in the area that you're recording with. So you have to be very careful. When you're doing something like, because I have the SM7B that I'm using right here, which is mostly the singing mic that I call it, but I have a TLM 102 in there, which is what I consider my voice mic. That thing will pick up like things going on a block down. If there's people having an argument, man, I can I can hear it through that thing. So you got to be careful. Very cool. So you got involved as a casting director with this group. It's a very unique position, I'm assuming. So, what's the funnest thing that you've cast so far?
It's got to be one of our competitions. So the most recent one we did in February of this year. Gosh, it's like the year's almost over. What we do in the competitions is we get clips from varying cartoons and anime, and me as the casting director, I audition everyone who comes in the door at the competitions.
Okay.
So I'll audition them. I literally have 3 minutes to figure out what their voice type is and what I think they're going to be comfortable with, and also at what basically at what skill level they will be judged as. So that will tell me as well what kind of scene I give them. And one of the scenes that was like the most exciting to cast was a scene from the Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie, where it was, the hero, his name escapes me, but he's all fiery colors against one of the demons. And it was I was absolutely blown away by the sheer talent pulling out of these folks. Like, I cast them just based on their voice archetype, and that they were very easy to engage with. They took direction very well, because part of the way that we audition is we give them one line,
Mhm.
and we give them two very different ways to say the line. If they can follow the sort of very polarizing directions that I give them, that helps tell me what their skill level is and what I can give them for the competition proper. And we had folks jumping out of their seats, cheering and clapping by the end of their performance. And I was just like, I literally get chills still thinking about how amazing that performance was. So that for me was the highlight, like casting these folks for this very jam-packed, emotional action scene. And then taking it a step further, this was one of our advanced scenes. And one of the things we do for folks who are slotted in the advanced division is that they can challenge each other to what we call a voice off. So these folks who are slotted for the scene do their performance. Before they get judged, they can stand up out of the crowd and say, I challenge you to a voice off, and they will perform the same scene.
Oh man.
And what happens with that voice off is, if you do well and you do that performance better than who you challenged, you gain 2 points to your total score for the competition. But if you don't do better, you lose 2 points. High risk, high reward. And it was phenomenal watching these four, because it was a 2-person scene. Another 2 people challenged them, and it was just blew me away how amazing and dynamic people can perform, because all of them did very different takes on the exact same characters. And like, for me, it just feels all warm and fuzzy inside to see, just these small changes you can make that can really drive home the impact and emotion in a scene.
I want to do that. I want to do that.
Like, I mean, come to Las Vegas. We will pull you right in.
I would.
Because at least over here, there isn't really anything like in person like that I could go to. But it's like, I want to do something like that so bad, especially like the whole in person dynamic of it. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to be in a guild. Like, guilds don't exist anymore. I want to be in a guild. God,
So,
that sounds so cool.
I will absolutely pitch this. Not only do we do in-person things here in Las Vegas, we do virtual ones in our Discord. So
Okay,
for folks
yep,
who
I'm
can't
sold.
make it to Vegas, we do have workshops in our Discord. The Arizona folks proper, they host virtual voice acting workshops. So they call it the Sunday meetings. They'll pick a theme for the week. You pick your own scene, you pick your scene partners, and you all perform it in Discord.
That's pretty neat.
That is very
I
neat.
need to do that. I don't think I can stress how much I need to do that, because I live in the sticks, and there's not really that much in regards to like voice actors around me or near me other than my roommate currently. And once you do it with one person for so long, it kind of not get stale, but you know each other too well, so there's no challenge there. And so I would love to be involved in this.
Yeah, I can't say the accolades enough for the Arizona folks, because they really work hard on these scenes, and they're so forthcoming with like advice and criticism and helping each other grow. It's really cool to see them do what they do, because it has a little bit of a different energy, because everyone is at least 16 or older. We have a couple of folks who are 13 that will come into it as well, but for the most part, it's it's adults who are working hard and challenging each other in a different way and in a different style than you might see at our workshops, because we're catering to a much wider audience, a very much more diverse audience in a way. So you definitely get some bonuses by doing the Sunday meetings virtual that you might not get with our live ones. But on the converse side, with the live ones, you have everyone hyping you up in person and getting to break out into groups and do it's all different vibes, but all awesome vibes.
So how often do you get to do this?
So the in-person workshops we do every other week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we do every other Monday at the Walnut Community Center. It's a fantastic time. For the most part, it's a 4-hour session every time too. So we do warm-ups for the first half hour. You have an hour to work with your scene partners and study your scene. And what we do in those studies is basically we'll show everyone what their scene is going to be. We try our best not to show that scene in English, so that people's brains aren't poisoned by the original voice actors.
I like that. Yeah.
So they can take advantage and do the scene the way they organically feel the characters should be. And so then we have our coaches take everyone so we have coaches within the group who will take our students, for lack of a better word, off to their different groups to practice their scenes together. Sometimes we'll give them challenges to basically do these scenes with a different character archetype, and we've actually had them all contribute their own archetypes. We put it in a hat and then they pick one. So one of the most hilarious ones I've seen is Mary Poppins as a cowboy.
Oh my god.
So it's all kinds of weird things like that. There was the mad scientist who's mad about climate change. And so just trying to have like these very strange dynamics for to perform as different characters that are, basically it doesn't fit the scene at all. So like one of the scenes that we did was like something from the Lego movie, and having all these crazy archetypes to the two main characters, the happy-go-lucky guy who sings the Everything Awesome song versus the emo girl character that's in it, and doing these wacky sort of character archetypes that don't fit the scene at all.
Wow.
Just to get people out of their comfort zones, doing things that are crazy and fun and silly, and challenge them to see how far they can stretch their different vocal archetypes.
So a lot of improv.
Yes, a lot of improv. We even go as far as allowing the team members to improv the scenes themselves. So like this past week, we did a scene from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's this 4 minutes long, which is long for us. Normally the scenes we do are about a minute or less, so that folks have plenty of time to really, work themselves up, and because they only have about an hour to practice before they go up and do their scene. So for this one, it was a 4 minutes long action-packed fight scene, and it was interesting because one of the characters doesn't have a single line, no lines whatsoever. It's only basically what do we call fighting emotes? So the hus and the ha's and the and the charge ups, like no words, just action sounds. And one of the most hilarious things that they did was like one of the parts where they're jumping over things, someone goes parkour, or when a bunch of the characters get like launched off a platform, they're like, we're blasting off again. So very much it gets silly and fun, and even with all of the ad-libbing, they managed to still make it fit within the scene and just very much transform a performance that may have been just kind of feels very standard to just throwing it out of the water, like blowing it out of the water.
That's awesome. It sounds very similar to that YouTube channel at Snapcube or something. Like they do a bunch of dubbing essentially, but it's all improv. So they'll take cutscenes from video games and then they dub over them, and oh my gosh, they're just so hilarious because it's all off the cuff, and then you got people in the background breaking character and like laughing and whatnot. So no, it sounds like such a fun time.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. One of the fun things that we do as well is we'll make completely different scripts for a scene. So there is one that exists where it's a date. It's a date night scene from I think it's from Avatar. Where it's Zuko and like this girl that he meets, like they're incognito in a tea shop, and he's like, someone I think's found us out, and it's like, no, it's a girl that likes you. And we've completely changed the script to be like an after dark thing. It gets wild. Like if we don't have any kids in the room, it turns into just it's AVAG after dark.
Yeah.
So I'll have you know, I am a massive Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, like super huge. So I'm very interested to see this script now.
I'll send it to you. It's hilarious.
How does one sign up for one of these workshops?
You just show up. So we have it at the community center. I always post on Twitter. I am the man behind the curtain for our Twitter, for our official Twitter. I always post when the next one is going to be. I'll post a recap of the previous ones. But typically you just show up to the community center 10 minutes before time and sign in, basically. The way the community center keeps running is to keep a tally of who's taking advantage of it so they can keep getting the city funding. So that's the biggest thing I always tell people. You have to sign in at the front desk. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to the community center so they can show that, that this is a much utilized, much needed resource within the community.
Right.
Wow. I mean, that's such an incredible opportunity that you're just offering people. That's crazy. How did you come up with the idea?
So I take no credit. The Arizona Voice Acting Guild was founded by a man called who goes by Matt Seaver. He has some history within the anime voice acting world. He's an ADR director. He is our ADR director. And he really got into it, going to different conventions and saying, hey, I can do these better. So he owned a few conventions, some you may know, Phoenix Fan Fusion. He used to own and he sold his share in it. But he was just like, I want to see competitions happen, so I'm going to make them happen. So that's where that kind of came from. And he ran the guild in Arizona proper until he had an business opportunity and came out here to Vegas. And so he was running the competitions as a one-man band. Like sometimes he would get folks from the Arizona proper folks to come and help him out at the competitions. But if he didn't have anybody who could make it out and volunteer, he was on his own.
Wow.
So that was how I met him, was through that competition. And I was like, this is amazing. How can we do this all the time? And he's like, well, I don't have any consistent folks that come out here, so I don't have high hopes, but if you're willing to commit, we'll make something happen. So it was myself and one other person, Zach Mayer. I will absolutely shout him out from the rooftops. He is an amazing voice actor. He just got cast in one of the biggest things. So one of the biggest things that he did is voicing a character called Sylvie in a series called Epithet Erased. If you've ever seen that, is by a man called Yellow Apocalypse on YouTube. Amazing show that was based off of a D&D campaign.
Oh, wow.
But most recently, he's in an anime that I believe is called Fire at His Fingertips. It is an absolute love fest that is just, it's all fan service, but it's amazing. So it kind of sounds like it's buff, sexy firefighters.
Oh wow.
Oh my.
So yeah, it is one of those animes. It is just, it's fantastic. And it blew me away because I've known him to be like, his voice type is very nerdy, very dorky, just kind of that sidekick kind of guy. And so to hear him do one of these smooth, like, it was just, I absolutely could not deal. I'm like, I can't keep watching this because I know you. Like, I'm just like,
yeah.
No.
But something's happening here. What was happening?
Exactly. So it's just seeing him sort of come up and do his thing is amazing because he's really solidifying himself as a voice actor, and having him with us in the group was like, just monumental. Just like you can't quantify how awesome, like the kind of impact that someone like him has being in the workshops and stuff. And he taught me so much. So it's just the dynamic and different range of folks, the different experiences of different folks. Especially having Matt sort of be really opening up sort of behind the curtain and teaching us about what it is to be successful in voice acting beyond just like your voice, but knowing where to go, how to take direction and things like that, what to expect from being in that professional environment is amazing.
Wow. Well, it's just, it's an incredible concept. I love what I'm hearing. It's a shame that, Las Vegas is so unreachable for a lot of us, but I'm still just astounded because it's such a great opportunity for people.
Yeah.
For sure. And we're really hoping, over time that we can expand the reach of the Voice Acting Guild. There is a chapter in California, but they've really sort of they've gone on their own path. But ideally, over a long enough timeline, we'll have chapters in other areas of the US. Like, we want to stretch as far as we can
Sure.
to just give people that sort of resource to have fun with us. And thankfully, thanks to the power of the internet, if in doubt, Discord is also thankfully a resource for that too.
And that was going to be my next question. So when it comes to the online and the Discord, how do you get into the Discord?
So we have a link to it on our Twitter. You can join at any point. We strongly push that we only have people over the age of 13 in the Discord for obvious reasons.
Guess I can't sign up.
Dorino.
Yeah, just, for safety, and because there are a lot of mature themes in anime and cartoons that we just, I don't need Karens up my butt, okay? I got enough of that. I get enough of that at the competitions. Oh my goodness. I've got stories.
Oh boy.
I'd love to hear one of them if you're willing to tell it, but
For sure.
Yeah.
So the most recent competition that we had, the structure of the competition is Friday and Saturday we host auditions. I meet literally every person who ultimately competes because I'm casting everyone for their scenes. But with that, everyone knows my face by the time we get to Sunday. So Sunday comes around and we're getting everyone filed into the panel room who is competing. Anyone who's not competing, we're filtering them to a separate line so we can let them in after. And I'm handing out everyone's badges because that's part of how I keep track of everyone. Different colored badges for different divisions.
Oh, wow.
And it also gives them something to take home because I'm all about the feel goods. So I'm handing out badges. I'm calling out the different groups, and I'm literally screaming like, "Team Slagathor, where are you? Team Slagathor, I need you up to the front." And while I'm So while I'm doing this, all of a sudden I swear she appeared out of freaking thin air.
They
Just
do.
Just
They just
angry white
do.
lady suddenly in my face, and I'm like, "Can I help you?" And it was like my husband and my son want to compete. I turn over and the husband's just like, and their 8-year-old kid, just along for the ride, dressed adorably in this in a Demon Slayer costume. And I was just like, "Oh, did they audition on Friday or Saturday?" "Well, no." I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry. We hold auditions on Friday and Saturday. Our competitors are already selected. But if you want to hang out in the audience, we have these lottery tickets. We call up random, and so that's one of the things that we do. We audition literally hundreds of people and only pick about 80, 50 to 80 folks for 40 minutes worth of scenes.
Wow.
Mind you, that stretches across 3 to 4 hours.
Right.
So with that, if they audition and I can't place them in a scene, we give them little lotto tickets. They can come and watch the show, and we'll pull random people from the audience to record really small lines. And so I give them these, I'm like, "Hey, you're welcome to be in the audience. Here are some lottery tickets for, joining, you have the chance to join us up on stage anyway, and be in part of a scene." She goes, well, "They've been wanting to compete all weekend." I'm like, "Well, you should have came to one of our panel rooms and auditioned. I'm really sorry to hear that. But again, you're welcome to join the audience. I appreciate you." And I just cut them off right then and there. And I'm like, I call out for the next group. I'm just like, "Team Hiatus, get over here." Team Hiatus to the front. And I just start yelling past her.
Yeah.
And thankfully the volunteer staff at the convention are really great. As soon as they saw that I needed to shut down this conversation, they then directed the angry Karen group to where they needed to be.
So this
Karen alert.
Mm-hmm.
this is a bigger scope than I thought it was then. So this is like a 3-day process in order to get one of these. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we host about 6 to 8 hours of audition time across 2 days. And then the competition itself is anywhere from 3 to 5 hours.
Wow.
Wow.
Because, you know, it's you know, anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute and a half long scene, but there's so much build up to it. You got to get everyone in places. We do a quick sound check. They record their scene in one take, and then they have a choice. Do you want to keep this take or do you want to redo it? And if they want to redo it, that's another, you know, up to a minute and a half of getting them re-recorded. Then we play their, the ADR director edits it in a flash because he's amazing, to make sure if there's peaking and like leveling people out, if they're too quiet, too loud, make sure it's all in line and can be heard over the backing track, you know, all the sound effects. And then we play the scene, and then me as the judge, while they're reading off their lines cold, you know, I'm listening to them read off their lines, and then I'm listening to the final take, and I'm taking notes because the judging itself is a whole ordeal. We judge on 4 different criteria, on a scale from 1 to 5 with partial points even. And I am taking notes as much as I can so I can give genuine feedback and criticism over the take. And let me tell you, thesauruses are really handy because you don't want to say great 27 times. Thesauruses are required. But you know, I'll look at what they've done, and out of the 4 criteria that we judge, I will focus on what they got the best score in and give them their positive feedback based on that. I'll look at what they had the lowest score in the 4 categories and give them their criticism based on that. I have 15 to 30 seconds to give everyone their feedback because scenes could have anywhere from 2 to 7 people in it. So it gets wild, making sure that we have enough time for everyone to have their chance to perform, everyone have their chance to get feedback, and for our advanced division, making sure there's time for 2 or 3 or 4 takes of the same scene. So the admin is a whole other ordeal. We've had some bad years trying to get it done just right because, you know, trying to manage the programming, because before, when Matt was doing it by himself, you know, he's only one person, he can only get so many people auditioned, worked out great. But then when we had more people to help facilitate the process, oh no, we've auditioned too many people. We ran out of time for programming. And so the most recent year, it was freaking like 99% perfect. It was wonderful. We had enough time for everybody. The only thing we did that kind of like kicked our butts is totaling everyone's scores and doing that in enough time to then present the winners. We went right up to time. It was like 9:30 when we said the very last word, and it's like, all right, all you got to get the hell out of here because everything has to be shut down by 10.
Grab a chair, help us pick up. Let's go.
Pretty much, yeah. And what tends to happen at the end of the competition, me being the casting manager and senior judge, everyone wants to know more about how they did. So what ends up happening is everyone else is packing up behind me, and I'm ushering everyone to the other side of the panel room and giving them their individual feedback beyond that 30 seconds. It ends, and that's me being, you know, champion of the feel goods, taking myself away from everything so I can talk to people, tell them how they did, let them give me their feedback. Like it's just, I love every second of it. Like as much as I love voice acting on my own, and I've done a little bit of work myself, I love being behind the scenes with everyone, with all these folks, helping them feel good and help them understand it's like it basically does not matter what you sound like. There's a butt for every chair, or a seat for every, whatever that phrase is. Like,
yes.
For every ass there is a seat. Like there's one person who's in our group, I love him to death. We call him our himbo because he is just all the feel goods. He very much has that voice archetype of the nerdy friend, the annoying neck beard, whatever you want to call it. And he's self-conscious of it. He's like, I feel like there's no voice for me. I'm like, oh, no. And I've even like pulled up examples from different shows. I'm like, we need this kind of person. Like that's it at the end of the day. And I actually saw a clip yesterday from, have you guys seen Bee and Puppy Cat?
No.
I saw a small clip of it.
It's adorable. You've got to watch it. It really is. It's so cute. It's so fun. There was a character in there and I was like, oh my God, this sounds like John. I have to message him this.
There you go.
So
yeah,
I need to watch it.
Yeah,
it's great.
Absolutely. I mean, for the most part, you have to give so much feedback. How do people tend to take the feedback that you give them?
Generally well. I'm really good at compliment sandwiches.
There you go.
Where,
That's how you do it.
you say something good, you give them criticism, and then you reinforce the positive at the end.
Yeah.
I've only ever had like one or two people make a real sourpuss face, but ultimately they're able to kind of walk away feeling something good about it. Like, even though, I may have not done that take well, but I know what I can do to do better.
Josh Jargon in chat says, Being Puppy Cat is so good.
It really is.
Nice. I'm gonna have to put
It's
that
adorable.
On the list.
Puppy Cat has no real voice. It's a Vocaloid. It's freaking hilarious.
Ah,
That's
I
bizarre.
like Vocaloid.
It's so good. It makes it even better. It's just none of it takes itself seriously, and it's just so much fun.
Sure.
So we're coming up on our last about 10 minutes. So just want to give you, because I tend to ask everybody the same couple last questions. So if you had an opportunity to go back before you started your journey in 2019 to give yourself some advice, what would that advice be?
Start sooner. Start sooner. Don't be shy and take classes. Like, for me, it's just like you can only get so far doing things on your own. Take classes, ask people for advice. Like, I would have gotten into it much sooner if I had, had the confidence to ask for help.
I love that. And I'm sure you hear this a lot, but if you were to, somebody was come up to you and say, how do I get started in voice acting? What would you tell them?
So I would tell them to just practice. So if you have character types that you're really interested in doing, you think you're strong in a certain area, or you don't think you're strong in any area, try to, there's a cartoon that you enjoy, an anime that you enjoy, try to voice the characters in those shows. Put it on mute and do it for yourself. Record yourself and play it back and say, does this sound good? Does it not sound good? Oh, I think I can do this better. And just keep going. That's literally what we do in the voice acting guild. Is that's all we do, and that's a great way to start. If you want to do things that will take yourself seriously, don't be afraid to pay to get your demo reel. In Vegas, there's a really great resource called TVAS, the voice acting studio. It's a paid thing, but they will teach you the basics, and at the end they'll record your demo for you.
Wow.
Sure.
Well, I mean,
think there's.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think there's like competitions that do that too, where they kind of like they like teach you about like recording demos or whatever, and then like the prize at the very end is like a studio records your demo for you or something like that.
Yeah, there's one similar that I'm familiar with, which is Now Voice This. It's a Twitter competition.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And at the end, they will either record your demos or they'll cast you in a show or a game. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
I participated in that. I got pretty far. It was really fun. It was how I learned one of my character voices. I've named him Bean because I picture him as a little puppy dog who's just doing his best, and he wants to fight crime.
Aw.
And he's very nervous all the time, but he tries his best to feel confident.
I can't deal. I can't. That was too hard.
I participated last time and I got like semi-finals, I think, and then it's like hoping for the next one.
Oh yeah, I will say I'm a little salty about how they do their competitions. I got disqualified based on my editing, not my voice. Because they didn't like a record scratch, and I'm like, why does the sound effects matter? This is not an editing competition.
Yeah,
I was bummed.
Aw.
Shoot, no, that's terrible.
Well, and I mean, unfortunately, people tend to run their stuff in their own particular way, and it really does get into those weird little semantic things that you got to really be careful with. So, wow.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, so you've mentioned you've done a couple of things. Anything in particular that we can look for and find you in?
You can find me in a song by Try Hard Ninja. He had a singer who was not comfortable laughing. So I recorded laughing tracks for the evil character that's in his music video. Because the singer couldn't do it or didn't feel comfortable. Like, I don't know how to fake a laugh. And that's one of I tell people that the hardest things you can do in voice acting. Laughing can get so uncanny valley. If you don't do it well, it's one of those things that's very easily noticeable.
Yeah.
So that's what I did for him, is I recorded various evil laughs and snickers and things like that. So you can hear me laughing in a Try Hard Ninja music video.
Nice. Did you record that at home, or did you have to go somewhere?
I did record it at home. It was with the Audio-Technica mic, and I put myself in a giant blanket and draped it over my computer screen.
Yeah.
And I just had this thick, heavy winter blanket over me and like recording like a gremlin.
There you go. Sorry, Misty, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. I was saying that's something I particularly struggle with too, laughing and screaming. It's like I just can't do that like without, I don't know. I need to feel it. Otherwise it sounds so fake and I'm so hard on myself.
That's how I feel. Like laughing for me is easy enough. It's the screaming. I don't know how to sound like a damsel in distress.
Same.
I can help with that.
I can
Lovely.
too.
Yeah, Scream Queen over there, Renara, and we've got the metal singer above us, Eldurrino. So.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm the Scream Queen here.
Actually, no. I can say that both of these gentlemen can both scream very high.
I love that.
It's true.
You
You
know, I
kind of forced us
requested
into that
specifically.
situation.
I
Yeah.
did, but it proves you can do it. So.
Absolutely.
For sure. I've learned over time and genuinely through the guild, I always thought I was going to have a voice that like I could be a Disney princess, I could do something high and fun and cute. I'm a villain. My voice archetype
Yes.
apparently is a
Yes.
villain.
Nice.
Because I can say very dastardly things with a lower tone and a little bit of breathiness to throw people off, of course. And I'm just like, okay, I don't know. Apparently, I don't know how to do like a happy, peppy, youthful voice. I sound like a mom.
Same.
There's a role for everyone.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Final questions, panel. Anybody? I know
I want to
Ladies
join
go
the
first.
Discord. How do I find the Voice Actors Guild? I want to join the Discord. How do I do that?
I will share the link with y'all, and if you just go to AZ_VA_guild, we have
Okay.
that's our Twitter.
Okay.
Very cool. Dorina?
Don't
Okay.
mind me. I'm looking up on Twitter right now.
Yeah, do it. It's great.
I'm doing
Follow
it
us
right now.
follow us on Twitter. We post, we have a link to our Discord there. We post anytime we're hosting workshops and competitions. I know this past last month, the Arizona folks hosted a competition at SabatonCon. We always host at Level Up Expo. We're hoping to expand beyond that eventually. Just to, as we smooth out our process, then we'll feel more comfortable expanding to other competitions outside of our states.
Crazy.
It looks. I've found. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna now stalk your Twitter. I've already gone through the photos. This just sounds amazing, and I am being stereotypical me, which is I found something new. I'm gonna now research the ever-loving shit out of this.
There you go. Misty, do you have any final questions?
I'm okay.
You're
It
good?
was just so
Okay,
pure fun
comrade.
experiences.
Thank you
hold-
for input.
Before we start, Josh Jargon's asking, what's the handle on Twitter again?
It is AZ as in Arizona _VA as in voice acting _guild GUILD.
There we go. I just put it in chat
Oh,
for y'all.
perfect.
All right.
Nice. So 2 questions. First off, I've been trying to find for our guests something a little bit more of a personal question. However, the amount of information I seem to find on you is very limited. So I'm going to ask you this question. What metal have you been listening to lately?
What metal?
Yeah.
Honestly, not a lot.
Okay.
I have always been a fan of Disturbed for my entire life. Literally,
sure.
that was my intro into alternative music. Was the Queen of the Damned soundtrack. So I then fell in love with Disturbed and Korn and just everything that came along with that album.
Sure.
So that's as metal as I get for the most part.
Oh, okay. So,
Love it.
so you're more
Oh, and
like
in this
the-
moment,
Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah.
I love In This Moment.
No, I only asked because I saw a picture of you in a Slipknot shirt. So,
Oh
that's,
yes.
I'm very big on metal myself, so I always
Love that. Yeah, I saw them at Rock On Fest, and it was like in the desert in California, like back in 2012 or
Oh, wow.
something.
Wow.
That sounds pretty brutal, to be honest. I love going to shows. I don't know if I could handle a festival though, where you're just outside in the blazing sun for an entire weekend.
It was my first and last. I will tell you that.
I don't blame you. It sounds fun yet miserable. Speaking of miserable, my final question for you is: what is your favorite pizza topping?
What is my favorite pizza topping? Oh, I'm basic. I love a meat lover's pizza. Like,
Nice.
put everything on it. I'm down.
Nice.
That works.
But well, I should say I'm even more basic than that, but it's hard to find, which is a good margarita pizza, because especially here in Vegas, no one uses fresh basil. It's just depressing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shame.
So that's why my default is meat lovers, because no one's going to use fresh ingredients.
Well,
if you go to the right place, I'm sure you can find something.
Yeah, it's just hard sometimes trying to think of the best, like, a local place that really does it right.
For sure.
As the East Coast's lunatic pizza fanatic, yes, I understand the struggle.
I miss good pizza. That was the one thing good about living on the East Coast. Is good pizza. I don't miss the snow, that's for sure.
I
Well,
have some choice words for you about that, but
once in a blue moon in Vegas, I'm sure. Rita Radtastic, welcome, says Twinster is a pastel emo princess.
Apparently I am. That's my twin sister, by the way. Rita Radtastic is my real life twin.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay. Welcome. Well, thank you so much, Buka. We appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. And we, I mean, if I ever have an opportunity, I'm definitely going to make a trip over there and check it out. It sounds like a ton of
Would love to have you.
Until that, though, thank you so much, everybody who was here. Appreciate the people that were in chat. Appreciate everybody who listened to the show, who watched it. Again, sorry about the late start. Sorry about all the technical issues. We'll try to get that all worked out before next week. If you have a topic, any comments, or anything that you want us to talk about, email us, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. We have a Discord. We're also very active on it. We play video games. If you have a question, you can send it to us. We have a great network of people, and we'll try to find an answer for you one way or another. We would also love to listen to your audio. You can submit your audio to us. We'd love to hear it. We do give very constructive feedback. We've done it all to ourselves, and we've learned and expanded our abilities because of so. So please feel free to come on in. Don't be afraid. We're very, very nice, and you know, we try to give everything on the up and up. With that in mind, my intro is next week. I've already started working on it, so we should be good to go. It's a very interesting little experiment, and we'll see how this all works out. Until then, though, I'm going to hand it off to Renara for her final words.
Again, every time I'm trying to read, my brain balks because I'm like, but we'll go with the last one. Have fun. Just have fun. Because if you're not having fun, then what is the point? Oh, and that was it. You do not need permission to create. You only need permission to make money off of something that you don't own. That's the only thing. But yes, have fun. Look after yourselves. Make more stuff. Do it. Start now. Don't get in your head, and have fun.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you all being here. Catch you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Drink water.
There it is.